Today I'm going to do the ninth lesson of grade 9 science. This is the last lesson of your part 1 book and very easy lesson, the evolutionary process. Diversity of living organisms in our environment is a result of the evolutionary process. So when you're studying about evolution, it is very important to consider about origin of the universe and origin of the life. In the past, there are many beliefs about the origin of the universe. In subtopic 9.1, we are talking about origin of the earth. So it is believed that the origin of the earth took place about 4.5 billion years ago. 4.5 billion years ago. There are two main theories about origin of the earth. First one is nebula theory and second one is Big Bang theory. In nebula theory, it says small particles of materials in the universe stirred together by the force of gravity, clumped up, and the galaxies, the sun and other planets were formed. Here the picture of how the nebula theory is processed. Small particles grow together by the force of gravity, clumped up, and galaxies and suns is formed. Second theory, Big Bang theory. In this theory, it considered as the modern theory about the origin of the earth. According to this theory, universe was an energy source with a great energy. A giant explosion took place in it and large clouds of dust particles were created. These dust particles clumped up together and the galaxies were created. It is said in the Big Bang theory that our solar system was created in a single galaxy known as Milky Way galaxy. Initially, the Earth had been a very cold, hot object and its volcanic activities were high. The Earth got gradually cooled and less volcanic metals with high density formed the core of the Earth. It is believed that Earth crust was created later. So the crust of the Earth is created later by light silicon rocks. So here, this is the picture of a Big Bang theory. There are so many processes in this picture, but generally, big explosion took place and dust particles were created and they clumped up together and galaxies were formed. So I told that Earth's crust was created later by light silicon rocks. There are various types of elements that the center of the Earth reacted with each other and different types of gases were formed. At the atmosphere of the Earth had gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, hydrogen sulfide. The absence of oxygen in the early atmosphere is a very significant fact. So, in the early Earth, there is no gas called oxygen. There are only carbon dioxide, methane, and hydrogen sulfide. Initially, the extreme heat of the Earth caused evaporation of water on the planet. This evaporated water got condensed, the clouds were formed. So, you know the water cycle. As the Earth is very hot, the water cycle began and clouds are formed. Water droplets in these clouds joined it together and dropped into the Earth as rain. There had been continuously heavy rains of the Earth for many years. And this rain was rich with minerals collected in lower lands and oceans were formed. So this rain um, rains non-stoply and the oceans were formed. Subtopic 9.2 Origin of life on the Earth. There are many beliefs and theories on origin of life on Earth, but it is believed that about 3.5 billion years ago, life originated on the Earth. So, Earth was created 4.5 billion years ago, and life originated on Earth 3.5 billion years ago. There are so many theories, and first theory is theory of special creation. According to this theory, all living organisms on Earth were created by a supernatural power. So, there is no scientific evidence to prove this theory, and also scientists do not pay attention to this theory of special creation. Second theory, spontaneous generation theory. This theory states that life was originated from non-living things in a spontaneous manner. Spontaneous manner means like rats who born from pieces of clothes, maggots who born from rotten meat, weevils who born from decayed wood. The spontaneous generation theory had been effectively disproved by the experiment conducted by the scientist Louis Pasteur. So this is the scientific Louis Pasteur. So this is the picture of spontaneous generation theory. Here you can see a container, 3 containers and 3 meat. And here you can see a cork seal, and here a gauze covered the container and cork seal the container. Here open container. In this open container, maggots are forming. In this closed cork sealed container, no formation of maggots in meat. In this gauze covered container, no formation of maggots in meat. So this spontaneous generation theory is disproved. Third theory, cosmosic theory. This theory suggests that living materials might have got established on Earth from a fallen matter, with living organisms or by spacecraft from other planets. This theory also not been proved scientifically. Theory of biochemical evolution, the last theory. This theory confirms that the beginning of the Earth, the gases in the atmosphere reacted with each other and the ingredients that make life possible were formed. Ingredients that life possible were formed by gases in the atmosphere reacted with each other. It is believed that the energy required for this was supplied by electric discharges during lightning, eruption of volcanoes, and by ultraviolet radiation of the sun. These materials dissolve in rainwater and collected in oceans. This mixture was known as primordial soup. The first living cell or pre-cell appeared as a result of a biochemical reaction in primordial soup. The first organisms was unicellular and was considered anaerobic and heterotrophic. Scientists have experimentally shown that the first living cell was created by the primordial soup. The first life of Earth is considered to be a simple unicellular bacterium. Then first photosynthetic organisms is unicellular algae. When photosynthetic organisms were formed, atmosphere containing gaseous oxygen was formed because when plants and algae organisms are doing photosynthesis, they are releasing the oxygen gas and absorbing the carbon dioxide gas. Many changes took place for a long time period within the body of unicellular organisms, and multicellular organisms were born. Gradually, tissues, organs, and systems were specialized with these multicellular organisms, and the world of animals and plants were created. Cnidarians, some annelidians, and some arthropods are considered as the first multicellular organism. The fish are considered as the first type of vertebrates, and amphibians originated from fish. Amphibians can be regarded as the first vertebrates that entered to the terrestrial environment. Reptiles evolved as the result of gradual evolutionary changes occurred in amphibians. The reptiles are completely adapted to the terrestrial life than amphibians. It is believed that the birds and mammals evolved from reptiles during evolution. So, fish, after fish, amphibians, then reptiles, after reptiles, birds and mammals were formed. Evolution of human took place about 12 million years ago. Modern human originated about 5 million years ago. The world of plants evolved by the gradual changes resulted in photosynthetic algae. in on the oceans. First, less developed plants originated with was then followed by non-flowering plant and then flowering plant at last. According to evolution of life has occurred at different times with several changes. To understand the process, you can study this figure. Life tree. Unicellular algae-formed fish, vertebrates, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, humans, simple plants, non-flowering plants, flowering plants. So this is called life tree. And I'm going to do another video to do the rest of this lesson in part 2. Thank you for watching part 1 in this evolutionary process lesson. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.